and welcome to JR Jeep. I'm glad you stopped by. Again, if you're a first-time visitor to the channel, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who have been watching for a while, I'm glad to have you following me and enjoying the content I'm trying to share. I hope you find it helpful. And if you have any feedback for me, I'd love to hear it. So today, we're reviewing a refrigerator I just bought. So as I'm looking to go out camping, probably 1 to 2 day increments, at least right now, I didn't need anything ultra heavy duty. But that said, I looked at some of my old coolers I had, which were some old, very old Coleman coolers, which I knew were not going to do the job. And looking at coolers to replace it, Yetis or something similar, and not to downplay Yeti, they're a great product. But I was looking at those, and those come in the cost range of like $250 to $350. And then of course you add in having to get ice and the water in the bottom of the unit and all that. It didn't really appeal to me all that much. So I looked at other options, and I've been reviewing a lot of content on YouTube in relation to refrigerators by other people, relation specifically to companies. And one of the companies that stood out to me was SetPower. And if you've not seen them recently, they've been really pushing some of their stuff on Instagram and on YouTube. Probably on Twitter too. I'm not on Twitter all that much, so I can't really speak to that. In relation to a couple fridges in specifically, and that being maybe some of their entry-level fridges, which this one, which is the FC20, and they have a smaller version, which is the FC15. Both of these units are pretty nice. They're not overly huge. They have reversible lids. The control panels are up here. They do include a power cord to go to a DC outlet, so like in your car, or like I have it hitched up to right now on the Blue Yeti, which we're basically demoing this device right now to see how long it lasts with the Blue Yeti. And we'll follow up on that later. But I like the reversible lid factor, is that I can put it in my Jeep any way I want to orient it, and it's not going to cause an issue to try to get into it. In looking at the price of these, the price is outstanding, quite frankly. You can get these anywhere in the realm of like $140 to $160 right now, which is phenomenal. And the other thing that's phenomenal is this has a 3-year manufacturer warranty on the compressor, which is pretty huge for a refrigerator compressor for a portable refrige that's going to be going out with you in the field, and they understand that. So that's pretty awesome. If there was any downside I could say to it, and this is my own personal thing, please don't take it as gospel or anything like that. I'm not particularly fond of the color. When I was very young and newly married, a house I moved into, the whole kitchen was pretty much that color, antique green, including the cabinets, which doesn't really appeal to me. Not that the downstairs are green, but this particular color, meh. Anyways, that might be something to look at in the future. It's no big deal. I can put stickers on this and I'll take care of that. So my first thing I'm going to do with this is, just like I said, we're hitching up Blue Yeti EB3A. This is not the high power unit. Probably EB355 would be the better unit to go with. I don't have one of those now. This is the first thing I was going with. I do love their technology and the fact that the app works really well with it. I'm learning more about this all the time. I am looking into EB55 as alternate. I think between the two of them, they're going to fit my bill on the go as needed. I have that hitched up via the DC outlet, and this has been running currently since 10:30 this morning. Took it a half hour to get down to the temperature, and it is now roughly 5 hours later. The Blue Yeti is at 70% power yet, which is pretty impressive in keeping this running. So I'm looking forward to see how long this little unit can keep that running. That's a different aspect, but that this is so efficient, I think is awesome. I do have a couple of bottles of seltzer water in there just to help, and continually with the demo. For a guy that I follow on Instagram, quite frankly, and you should too, Matt from Ozark Overland, does a lot of really great demos on fridges. I can't begin to come to what he has. I'm sort of following his format, so forgive me, Matt. I'm not trying to copy you, but I thought your content is so good, so I wanted to share that as well. I'm trying to look at the costly aspect on it as well, because not being invested in it full time yet, I have to justify what I'm doing in the field based on monetary valid, based on configuring my Jeep and all the other equipment I take out there. So I think this is going to fit the bill though really hugely. I wish I would have had this in the past. I used to fish quite a bit and guide, and going up to Canada, we used to take coolers when we would bring some of the fish home. We wouldn't rape the lakes, please don't take that like we would do that, but you took back your limit, and it would have been nice to have something like this to take back as opposed to securing the fish, which we would have done anyway in heavy duty freezing material, and then putting cold, ice blocks in there and duct taping the cooler to keep it as cold as possible over that drive home, which our drive home was about 18 hours. So this would have been nice to have at that time too. So something to think of if you're in that category. So I thank you again for watching. I will follow up on how long this has lasted with the power that we are being provided by the Blue Yeti, and give my overall impressions of the machine. So again, thank you for watching. So the unit took about a half hour to get down to 38 degrees from where it was at 54. I stuck my hand in there briefly and it was nice and cold, but it's not running right now, so that's pretty cool. I'm curious to see how much it has to kick in to keep it cold. I too have 2 bottles of tonic water in the bottom just to keep constant temperature in there. Just wanted you to hear a little bit of the unit when it's cooling off after it's been cooled down. This is the sound you're going to hear. No draw on the Blue Yeti. You can see it was at 100% power when I started this. It's at 93% now, getting it down to the temperature. So we'll see how it does. Well, it's 9:50 at night, and you can see the battery pack still has 45% power left. I'm not sure if it's going to make it tonight, so we'll see what it looks like in the morning. But it has been running the cooler all day and doing a good job keeping it at the 38 degrees. So we'll see what transpires in the morning. Well, it's 5:30 a.m. the following day. We can see the Blue Yeti is down to 16% power, but it is still keeping it at that 38 range. Right now it's at 37, so pretty impressive. So somewhere between my last check and 6 and 7 a.m., it went down to 0 power, so of course it's not charging anymore, or powering the fridge anymore. But that's pretty impressive. Over 19 hours of time off this little power pack. So what did we find out by doing this little test with the SetPower GL20 refrigerator is that, number one, it seems very efficient. It's very quiet, as you could overhear in the video when the compressor is running. I'm still really impressed by a 3-year manufacturer warranty on the compressor. I mean,
in roughly $150 fridge, that's pretty much totally unusual. So very cool for that they honored their product that well. Construction, why not being as durable as some of the ones you see out there in the higher frame market, but I think those are for extended overlanding, whereas this one, I'm not planning on that extended facet. The other thing we saw is that you can use, this is a whole zone, which in the past I probably would have found beneficial with some trips coming back from Canada fishing, that I could have set this for a freezing temperature and be able to come home very easily with this. Would have been fantastic instead of using dry ice and going through the rigmarole of that and sort of expediting your trip home on the context that, you know, the fish may not hold. So that would have been huge. I could see this being used besides purposes of short overlanding, for trips out, trips maybe to grocery stores that you're maybe going somewhere out of the area, you're going to a specialty store that you like or a meat market for specialty meats, and you may be going to make a stop off along the way. You don't have to worry about anything. Everything is protected in the unit. So there's a lot of options for this besides the one I'm going to use it for, which is my short camping trips and overlanding, which I hope to do pretty soon. But I thank you for again stopping by. I'll give you further reviews on this once I get mounted in a Jeep and set up. I do have a frame mount which came, and I'm building a deck for the back, which is almost done. So I look forward to showing you that in the near future. Again, thank you for stopping by. I hope you consider this information helpful. If so, please give a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. We really like having you, and I enjoy sharing information with you as well. If you have any feedback for me, constructive, I'd love to hear that as well. So you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.